G'day, this is Steve Nichols. I'm one of the committee members for the Triple Peaks in 2022, the MCL Construction Triple Peaks, and not quite sure how, but I've ended up with the health and safety and COVID responsibilities for this year's event. It's been really, really fun for me. And this briefing is our separate COVID briefing, so hopefully you haven't switched off already. But yeah, we'll try and make it as entertaining and as brief as possible. Basically, the main thing that we want to get across is that we are running the event under red. We're one of the few events going ahead under red. We've spent a lot of time trying to plan to have it under red. We've consulted with the Trust, with the Hastings Council, with Bike NZ, with our stakeholders, and they're all happy with the proposals we've done in order to meet the regulations. We don't necessarily have a personal perspective in terms of whether we like what we have to do or not. Our goal is to run a successful event for you, the competitors, and to do that, these are the rules that we have to operate under. So for us, it's just a case of saying, well, let's tick the boxes and let's do them. So if you don't like the fact that you have to come to a registration at a particular time of the week because you have to take an hour out of your day to get there, then think about us who are taking the entire week off work to make sure that we're at 2 different registrations as well as a volunteer briefing, etc., etc. So, you know, we're all volunteers too. We all have full-time jobs. Everybody's making sacrifices to make sure this event goes ahead. If you're going to come to us and bitch and moan about the fact that you have to wear a mask or have to do that, then we're just going to say to you, shut up. I don't care, because we don't care. We're just going to try and get on with it and run the event. So please bear that in mind when you're coming into this event. Right, so what do we have to do? We have to wear a mask. Number one, wear a mask all the time when you're at registration, when you're milling around in the start-finish areas, when you're at the transition area. Basically, the rule of thumb, be that thumb if you want to, thumbs up, is wear a mask if you're not exercising. Once you've finished wearing your mask and started exercising, then we would advise that you take a mask with you, because you never know when you might have to stop somewhere. And it's always a good idea to have a mask handy. Number 2, please make sure you stay in your pods. So we're running under the COVID red guidelines. That means we're not allowed to have groups of more than 100, as long as they're in a confined space. Our groups are in confined spaces. That's why you're in waves. That's why you have colours. So please stay in your coloured pods. I know you might not want to. You might want to change. Remember, we have 550 people that also might want to have to change pods. And, you know, we really can't change everybody around. So if you can race in your pod, you can start in your pod, that would be fantastic, and try to stay in your pods. Once you're out on the course, you can do whatever you like. Wait for your mate, catch them up, whatever. But you're in the open, you're on public land, and you're allowed to do effectively whatever you like at that point. But you must stay within your pods in confined spaces and try not to spread the virus to everyone. The rules aren't perfect, but they are something that we can all manage to do. Number 3, make sure you do a health check on yourself before you leave home, before you come to the event. If you're sick, we really don't want you to come here. We don't really want to catch anything off you, just like you don't want to give it or catch it off anybody else. So do a health check before you come. Number 4, if you are coming to the Hawke's Bay from out of town, do sort of have some idea of what might happen if you do catch COVID and need to isolate here. You might want to make some plans. It is something that might happen, and it is something that event directors are being encouraged to make sure that competitors are aware of. So just have a thought or a note about that. And number 5, lucky number 5, we do have scan in, scan outs. We do have vaccine passports. So we'll be scanning your vaccine passports or your team's vaccine passports at registration. You'll get a lovely little wristband to wear in the colour of your wave. And that means we've scanned you, that you're allowed to be on the course, and we're allowed to have more than anyone on the course. And we also have scan-ins at each location, the transition, the registration, and the start-finish. So please make sure you're using those scan-in locations. Please don't give our volunteers who are asking you to put a mask on or to scan in grief. They're just doing their best as well. They're spending 8 hours out in the sun or the rain or the wind or all of the above, having to wear a mask as well. So be aware of that. Try and run within the rules as much as practically possible, just like we'll try to run the event as much as practically possible, and we'll all get on famously. So, you know, last thing is to my notes is to try and wrap up with an inspirational speech. So I tried to channel my inner Winston Churchill in order to make sure we say something inspirational. So here goes. So I say to you, my fellow triple peakers, that while we will give an event this weekend, it will not be a victory, even though it may be a success. No, this event will just be the start of the war against the COVID-19 virus. And we will fight this virus together. And we will fight it on the beaches. We will fight it on the mountains. And we will fight it on the river crossings. We will never surrender. We will fight it on Mount Erin. We will fight it on the uphills. We will fight it on the downhills. We will fight it on the streets. We will fight it up Lane Road. We will fight it going past litter boxes. We will fight it at